Welcome back to World War III. Here today, we are going to look specifically at the customization during this closed beta test in the beginning of 2022. So, as first outlined in my original World War III video, the customization is broken down into 4 sections. The first one being your identification, which is your banner options, your emblem options, your banner flag, and your profile name. Then, 3 more main and more important customization parts are your equipment, your strikes, and your character. We're going to start by looking at the character. So character customization in this game, you have multiple character slots that just allow for you to have looks saved that you can just swap to as you want to. Between matches, you can just right click and it will set it as the one you are using. Now, you do have operators, which are premium operators that are pre-made designs here. And the others will be able to be unlocked, I'm sure, or there will be more in the future, hopefully. Now, when you actually customize your soldier, you start with a face. There are currently only 3 faces during the CBT, but I'm sure there will be more during further updates of the game. You then have headwear, which, whilst limited in this closed beta, you still have a few options from American, Polish, and Russian headgear. Now, with some of these headgears, you can also change the skin on them if you have any unlocked. Next slot is facewear. This is things like glasses, neck warmer, balaclava, gas masks, and stuff. Once again, limited in the CBT. There is also face paint. Self-explanatory. Your next choice is gloves here. You can change it as well as changing the skin on. Jackets. Which, when you change the skin of, see, change camos, but if you have a jacket with sleeves and stuff, you can change the patches on the side via the personal tab here, where you can change your country flag, a sentence that is on your vest. You can also change your voice to the character. In this slot too. Next is body paint. Self-explanatory once again, and then finally it is your pants slot, which also changes the boots. And once again, you can also change the camo on these if you have them unlocked. Fairly basic system, but customization is more in depth than a lot of other FPS games out there, especially once more customizations are unlocked and or added. It will be a lot simpler. It will be a lot better than a lot of other games out there, and it will really make the battlefield a bit more unique. Next, we're going to take a look at equipment. Now, equipment here, you unlock the loadout slots just as you level up. With these, you tend to unlock other weapons as well as you go. Now, how loadouts work is you have a loadout weight, which changes your mobility. Now this is outlined by the equipment you carry, being your primary and secondary weapon, as well as your armor plates and your head armor. Now, starting with weapons here. There are There are 8 categories for weapons. These being assault rifles, battle rifles, LMGs, sniper rifles, shotguns, sidearms, special, which is launchers at the moment, and SMGs. Now obviously these all perform in some slightly different way, as well as the different weapons in the categories themselves performing different from one another. When you choose what weapons you want, your primary and secondary weapon can be from the same category. So you can carry 2 rifles if you wish, assuming you have enough mobility from your loadout. Like here you can see we now have an assault rifle and an SMG. But if weight permitted, we could have an assault rifle and a shotgun, a battle rifle, and so on. Now, your armor plates that you choose to have in will change how much damage gets absorbed when the strike plate within your vest is hit by a round. With Kevlar only reducing pistol damage, ceramic reducing pistol and intermediate rifle fire, and steel armor being very effective against pistol, medium effective against intermediate, and somewhat effective against heavier bullets and sniper rifles. Now, this only goes for if the actual plate within your vest is hit. If you are hit elsewhere, you will still take full damage. And then headgear, or head armor, which also provides you with some protection when you get shot in the head. Sniper rifles, even when you have titanium, will just one-shot you to the head. Things like assault rifles, if you have titanium, the first round will usually ricochet the helmet off of your head, exposing you to a one-shot headshot after that. And you will still take damage from being hit in the head, even if your helmet tanks it. Now, the weapons themselves can be customized a fair bit. Assault rifles in particular have 5 slots for customization. So, here, we're looking at sights. There are 3 categories for this assault rifle in particular, that are kilometers and hollows, iron sights, and medium magnification. Kilometers and hollows are up to 2 times, iron sights are iron sights, and medium magnification is up to 5 times here. For this assault rifle anyway. They all have pros and cons for them, with iron sights just basically you have a less clear sight, but there's no ADS speed penalty. Kilometers and hollows having a obviously better view, but slightly increases your ADS time, and medium magnification increasing your ADS time even more so than the kilometers and hollows. You then have secondary sights. These are canted sights, which can be kilometers and hollows or iron sights. You will unlock these and more of these for your weapons as you level your weapons themselves up. You can swap between your main sight and any additional sights by pressing middle mouse button whilst you are in game by default. The next slot is underbarrel. These are grips for the moment. There may be additional stuff added, as in the backpack slot, as I'll show you in a moment. There is an underslung shotgun and an underslung grenade launcher. So as you can see here, once again, they all have positive and negatives to them, depending on which grip you choose. Next slot is magazines. Some weapons, like the MG5 at the moment, do not have an alternate magazine type. However, here you can see there are 30 round mags, 30 round mags with a puller, 20 rounds with a puller, and a triangle style skeleton drum mag. Here. Once again, all with positives and negatives for how they affect your weapons. Then there's a secondary ammo slot. Now this secondary ammo slot, if you do choose to equip something in it, will either be an extra magazine of standard ammo, an alternate ammo type between whatever else is offered. These will obviously have their own positives and negatives to them as well, and you can swap between your primary ammo and your secondary ammo by holding R during game by default. Next is your side rail. This is things like lasers and lights, which once again all have positives and negatives to them. Your barrel, which you can change, once again with positives and negatives to them. And then your muzzle. Now anything in the performance tab will take up one of these 5 slots that you have for customization. These slots can have color changes applied to them from camos that you have unlocked for the weapon, like such. And then there is a personal tab. This personal tab is for like entire weapon color applications, adding an emblem to the side of your gun, and where you can change grips, which do not change any performance. It is purely cosmetic on the weapon. The handguard, some of which will change by default if you change the barrel on certain weapons. The stock, and magazine funnel, all of which are purely cosmetic, allowing you to create a little bit more of a unique gun in the game. Next, we have the equipment pack. Equipment packs in this are a bit like the packs in Battlefield, where you have meds, ammo, stuff like that, adding for more team play within the game. Now, these ammo packs or equipment packs do not take up any weight for your loadout, and you cannot unequip an equipment pack here. So, you have med packs, which obviously heal, as the passive health regen in the game only at this time regens up to 1/3 of your health, depending on which chunk of your health you are in. So if you are below 33, you'll only passively heal up to 33. If you're below 66, you'll only passively heal up to 66. Equipment, which is for you to restore grenades and gadgets. Ammo pack, which is obviously to restore ammo. And armor, for restoring your armor plates when they get damaged, or your headgear if it gets shot off. Your secondary gadget, which is grenades and equipment, as you can see here, is what is refilled by the equipment pack. Now, the equipment packs do passively also regen once you use them. So, for your secondary gadgets here, it's things like frag grenades, anti-tank mines, claymore mine, C4 IED, anti-tank grenades, Semtex, and RGO impact. They all perform slightly differently and will definitely add to the style of class that you wish to play. And finally, the final slot here is your backpack. Your backpack allows for additional sights, whether these be primary or secondary, underbarrel, and muzzles to be brought with you into the matches, as well as a different type of secondary gadget. Like such. Now the backpack here can be used in-game by pressing I by default, and this will allow you to change the attachments on the currently held weapon, and will also allow you to change your secondary gadget. You can swap weapons during the battlefield off bodies as well. Then the final slot here for customization is strikes. Strikes here are a bit like your score streaks in Call of Duty. This is the best way to describe them, whilst also giving you advantages a bit more like in Battlefield, as you can see by the UAVs, supports, and vehicle slots. Now, your strikes are broken down into 3 categories here. Starting with UAV, this includes radar and jammer choices from a small flying eye radar, which is a small unmanned aircraft that circles the area around you when you choose to activate it. This will reveal enemies for a short amount of time. It continuously marks them on the map only. The second is the Barracuda. You get to choose where this gets placed on the map, and it has a radius. Barracuda pulses rather than doing constant detection, and marks both in the map and in the world. Finally is an OTV, which pulses for map only marks, but this one here is the entire map that it marks on, but it does have a longer cooldown once you use it. Second slot, or second choice here, is jammers that you can choose between. You have the Reaper jammer here by default, continuously jams over a designated area. Or this second one, which is a continuous jammer type that covers the whole map, preventing enemy from receiving UAV intel and airstrikes or vehicles. Second slot here is support. This is your airstrikes, artilleries, and bombing run choices. Now, these are broken into airstrikes, which control a bit like Predator missiles from Call of Duty, where you have the different choices here that range from kind of equal effectiveness between armor and infantry. There's a hybrid strike here, but it does cost 4,000 points for in the match to use. The Hellfire, which is mainly anti-infantry, that costs 1750 points, or the Stormbreaker here, which is the anti-armor airstrike, which costs 3,500 points to call in during a match. Then have Artillery, which has a few more choices for. Starts off with High Explosive, which is a hybrid artillery shell, and the barrage is 30 shells in a 25-meter radius for the barrage. It lasts 15 seconds and is equal effectiveness against both infantry and vehicles. Anti-armor, as you can tell by the name, more effective against armor and has a larger barrage radius than the high explosive. Shrapnel, which is anti-infantry, has a 35-meter barrage radius and a slightly longer duration than the high explosive, and is also a 30 shell barrage. And finally, Smoke, a smaller 10-meter radius of 15 shells to just cover an area. And finally, you have choices of bombing runs. This goes from anti-armor JDAM bombing run, hybrid bombing JSAL bombing run, another hybrid bombing WCMD bombing run, and finally napalm. These can get called in across the map. Finally, the slots for strikes is vehicles. Now here you have 6 different types of vehicles that you can call in, ranging from aerial drones being quadcopters, helicopters and loitering drones, land drones being a Leviathan or a Scarab, infantry fighting vehicles, for which you have different choices, ranging from medium, light to heavy infantry fighting vehicles, armoured fighting vehicles, tank destroyers, and main battle tanks. Now, the vehicles themselves here can actually be customised, allowing you, when you level them up enough, to be able to have different turrets, adding or changing the different armour, changing the different turret, changing whether there's a jammer or not, or APS, and changing what type of observation view from the gun you have. You can also change and add secondary ammo types to the main cannon and to the crows. You can also change the vehicle skin here. Certain vehicles also have special versions of their turrets, like here, which means you can turn the Leo here from a tank into anti-air. This allows for a more unique experience on the battlefield and rewards you for dedicating towards certain strikes that you use by making them more defended, changing the weapons, making them more effective against tanks and vehicles, and just changing your experience on the battlefield as you play. Now you can preset up all the different loadouts that you might want to use for strikes, and you can swap between what strike loadout you are using during a match. Same goes obviously with your class here, your loadout class. You can swap between it in a match between deaths. And this here about covers it for the customization here in World War III. If you wish to see anything else or have a little bit more of a look at other stuff, please do let me know, and I will try and be able to make a video on that for you as well. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please like, comment, share it, whatever. If you didn't like it, please leave some feedback down below. It does help to improve the channel and the content that I choose to put out. If you haven't checked out my other 2 videos, the playlist will be linked at the end of this video. If you haven't seen of any of my other kind of game content for different games, they'll also be at the end of this video. So thank you so much all of you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.